Hello guys and welcome to Creative Arts Academy. In this video, we'll be looking at a very key topic in web development called Flex or Flexbox. Yes, mostly referred to as Flexbox. So just as the name sounds, Flexbox, that is flexible box. So Flexbox is a layout tool in CSS that helps you arrange items easily inside a container, either in rows or in columns. So just think of it like um placing things inside the box. When you place these things inside the box and you're able to control these things you place inside the box, like control their position, their spacing and alignment, without stress. It's just like a lady that is pregnant. So the lady that is pregnant now is the container. So she's the container and her offspring, which is the children she's carrying, is the box. So your ability to control those children, like how they are lying, if they are lying side by side, or if they are on top each other inside the woman now, which is the container. So the ability to control them is what we refer to as flexbox. It's a very simple thing, though sometimes might seem broad, but it's something very easy to understand. So let's start this way. So here in my HTML, we'll be using div. Div is something that is very important or is a key tag when it comes to Flexbox. So we have our first div. I want to actually use this to understand the concept of Flexbox. So I have our first div and we'll give it a class. We'll call it container. So this is primarily the pregnant woman now. This first div is a pregnant and we have the div. Now this container is holding these other divs now I'll be using. So we have another div and we'll give it a class too. We'll call it box. So let's say this is box one and we have another div. We'll also give it a class. We'll also call this box and this is box two. And we have the third div. We would give it a class. We also call it the class is also box and then this is box 3. So we're working with just these three boxes. Now if you notice, these three divs are inside this first div, which is the container div. So this container is the parent, let's call the parents, or the mother, the pregnant woman carrying these three children, these three babies. So we have the first child, which is box one, second child, box two, and the third child, box three. So our ability to control these um these boxes, this first child, second child, and third child, control their spacing, the position, alignment is what we call flex box. So we control them for them to be flexible, so that they can adapt to certain conditions. Now let's head over to our CSS. This whole flexbox of a thing is mainly in CSS. But before going there, let's go live first of all. Let's go live so we can see what we have. So this is what we have. One, two, three. Now that div is actually a box. It's a kind of box, but somehow you can't see it unless we use CSS to make it visible. So first, let's go head back to our CSS and we'll be calling out the first thing, which is dot dot box. I believe you should understand why I'm using this dot box, which is the class name. If you don't understand, I'll leave the link to CSS basics in the description. So go and watch the basics and understand why I'm using this dot box. So dot box, and we say the border. The border should be, let's say, 2px solid. Now you can see that the box has come out now. Now let's work on the height and the width of this box. The height and width. So the height, let's say 50px, and the width should just be 20%. So this is what we have now. You can see our boxes. So these are box 1, which is the first div, box 2, and box 3. So primarily you can see how these boxes are arranged, like on top each other. 1 is coming first, 2 is coming second, and 3 is coming, third. But with the help of Flexbox, we can control the arrangement of these boxes. With this now, this background now is our container, and this background is the pregnant woman. So these boxes are the children inside the pregnant woman, and if you picture it clearly, the first child, which is this first box, is on top the second child, and both of them are on top the third child. Now we can control it in a way that, okay, these boxes should be flexible to adapt to any situation, that okay, 3 can come up, 2 can come down. They can decide to, okay, they don't want to stay on top of each other, they want to stay side by side anyhow they want. So that's the essence of Flexbox. Now let's head over to our CSS, and we introduce the container, which is the pregnant woman now. So dot container, and first we have is the display. So for the display, we use flex. Now if you use display as flex, automatically by default, these boxes, let me show you guys, will no longer stay on top of each other. They will spread, they will now stay side by side, because you're not using display as flex. So we call this row. So they are now stay in the format of a row format, and no longer a column format. They are now in a row. So automatically when you use display as flex, by default they rearrange their position to stay side by side with each other. Let's look at other um, stuffs. Now, what if I want them to come back to the column format? I will use what we call flex direction. And flex direction, there are 4 flex directions. Number 1 is column, number 2 is column reverse, number 3 is row, and number 4 is row reverse. So column, let's go with the column first of all. You can see it now. They've come back to how they were initially. They are now back, staying on top each other. Now let's look at column reverse. Let's say we don't want to use column, we want to use column reverse. Let's see the effect of column reverse. What did you notice? Number three now came up and number one went down. So if they actually switched positions. Three came up and one went down. So your ability, to control this, that is the main portion of this Flexbox. We actually placed these three things inside a box, and we are trying to control their position, spacing, and alignment without stress. That's the idea behind Flexbox. I'm trying to explain this in a layman term so you can be able to understand. So let's look at the other way. Now let's leave column and column reverse. Let's look at the next one. Next one is row. So row is staying side by side. That's the side by side. And let's look at row reverse. So what did you notice? It came to the end of this screen, to this other end. Row reverse, and you can see three came first, two and one. Now your question will be, why did column reverse not come down, since row reverse actually went to the end of the screen, this side of the screen? Why did the column reverse not come down? This is because this page is actually an unending page. We can decide to add more elements to this page, and we'll keep going. Just like when you open some website, you keep scrolling up, scrolling up, and you see more things. So it's just like the page is not ending. There is no permanently end to the page. But for this, this other side of the screen, this side now, there is an end. Of course, this is the end. You cannot add more things there. So that's why it actually went there. And for column reverse, it did not, go down the page. So I guess this is well understood and well explained. Now let's leave this as column. Let's leave it as column first of all. Let's leave it as column. Yes. So next we will look at is justify content. So before going ahead to justify content, the function of this display flex is to turn the container into a flexible container so that you can enable the Flexbox features. If I did not put this display and set it as flex now, I won't be able to, do this stuff I'm doing now. But because I set it as a flexible container, that is why I'm able to do all of this. And for flex direction controls if items go horizontally, which is the row, or vertically, which is the column. That is this column now. We have, so from left to right is row, from top to bottom is column. Now let's continue with the justify content. So we have justify content, and we say center. Now what is the function of the justify content? This justify content now horizontally align those boxes, which is the children now, to the center of the container. I've told you guys that this here, this we have is the container, and these are the boxes, these are the children. So with justify content, you will be able to horizontally align these boxes to the center of the container. Why didn't this stuff align out to the center? Is because it is not in a row format. Currently, it is in a column format. So let's change it Let's change it to row so you understand what I'm saying. Now come here. You can see that it has moved to the center, it has aligned to the center. So that's the function of justify content. Justify content to the center will horizontally align the boxes. Horizontally, I stress on underline, horizontally align the boxes to the center of the container. Now, what if we want to vertically, which is the column format now, vertically align the boxes to the center? We use what we call align items. Align items. So let's remove this justify content and we set this. We set this to column. So for column, we have align items to the center. So what did you notice? The boxes came to the center. So that's the function of the align items. It vertically aligns the boxes to the center, whereas the justify content now we horizontally, which is the row format, align the items or align the boxes to the center of the container. And I told you guys this page here is the container. This page here is the container, and these are the boxes, the children. Now, you can see that these boxes are actually joined together. What if you want to add space, add space into these boxes? Like we want them to have some space before the next box. What do we use? We use what we call gap. And all of this is done under the container tag, not under the box tag, under the container tag, because you are actually trying to arrange them inside the container. So you have to do it container you side, not in the box side. So say gap, and for the gap we use 20 pixels. Let's review. Here I can see that there is now space between the boxes. We now separate to say, okay, the first box one, child one, stay, give child two space, child two, you give child three space. So that's the function of the gap. All these features we are using is because we set the display as flex. If we didn't set this as flex, I'm not sure most of this stuff will be possible or will work. So the function of the gap is to add spacing between each box. And let's do something else. Let's add height. Now we are adding height to the container itself. The container. So 100 VH. And let's add background as color. So you can see that this container's color has changed. The color has changed. That color we added doesn't apply to these boxes. It doesn't apply to these boxes. Okay, let's add the color now to this box. Let's come to a box and let's add background first of all. So we're using this, and let's preview. Now you can see that we've added color now to the boxes, which is div. These boxes are div, they're actually div tags, and we decided to put it 1, 2, 3, as their elements. So what else do we add to the box? Let's add color. Let's change the text color. So you just say color. Don't no need to write text color. Just say color, and we'll say white. Now, if you notice, the color changed. The color of the text changed. Even the border color changed too. And let's add padding. You can see these two is touching the edge of this box. The one is touching the edge of this box. Three is touching the edge of this box. So let's add padding to it. So padding, and let's say 20 px. Now this padding is all around, not padding left or padding right, just padding. So you can see this one is 20 pixels away from the edge of this box, and also 20 pixels away from the top. And if you notice, the boxes have sharp edges. So let's add border radius. All these other stuff now I'm adding is under the box side, because we are making changes to the box. We are not arranging them in the container. We are just trying to make changes to the box or beautify the box, style the box. We are not arranging them in the container, or their positions or their spacing. So border radius, set the border radius to 8. You can see the curved edges now. See the curved edges. There are other flex steps you should know, like the flex wrap. The flex wrap allow items to wrap to the next line in case there is no space. In case there is no space, maybe we have stuff here and there is no space. The ability for this, okay, let's say we have box here, box here, box here, box here. Now the ability for this box to move to the next line, just in case there are boxes, all over here, is what we call flex wrap. So we use flex wrap for that. And we have flex start. Flex start is items aligning to the left. We also have center. Center is position to the center. We have space between. So the space between items. All this stuff I'm missing out, you can check it out on your own. We have space between, we have space around. We also have flex. Now this flex now will be used for the box side. The flex controls how much space a child should take, how much space the box should take, a child should take. So the flex controls that. How it should be used under the box side and not the container side. So these are um, the things you should know. There are actually more. There are actually more. It's more like let me not say it's really a broad topic, but at least it's kind of broad, and it's good you know them. Flex is a very key and important topic when it comes to web development. For the sake of the duration of this video, we'll be stopping here. Your free time, you can actually check out other terms or other elements under the Flexbox. Remember the analogy I gave, or the explanation I gave. You say the container. You said the container is like the pregnant woman, and then the items inside, which is, let's head over to our say this container now, this main div is the pregnant woman, and then the items inside, which is these other divs, these other three divs, they are they are the children inside her. And Flexbox now gives you the power to arrange these children however you like, whether they are lying side by side, which is the row, or on top each other, which is the column, or whether they are maybe very close or spread out or centered, or whether maybe they wrap if there are too many of them for the space, or they are lying to the top, center, or bottom of her belly, of the woman's belly. This container, I'm calling it woman now, so you'll be able to understand. So Flexbox is basically your control system to manage how the children are arranged inside their mother. Their mother is the container. The children are these boxes, these other little leaves inside. So get the concept correctly. We'll stop here, and if you enjoyed the video, ensure you subscribe, like, and if you have any question, drop it in the comment section.